Guys, we got one game left. We'll get final thoughts and best bets at the end. We just talked about a game going 12 noon on New Year's Day. We got this one going 1 p.m. Saturday, January 1st. Oklahoma State and Notre Dame here, Ralph. We're seeing the Irish -2.5 or -2, depending where you're shopping. 45.5 being the total. Talk about, some of the best matchups outside of the playoff. This has an argument to be it. Two really good teams, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, kind of hangover time slot here on New Year's Day. What are you liking, Ralph, between the Cowboys and the Irish?
Well, it's simple. I have Oklahoma State as my fourth best team in my power ratings. I think they're the better team. I think their defense is elite. 53 sacks, one every 13.7 times. You look at the games, Cohen was sacked 6 times against Wisconsin, but that game blew up. They haven't gotten a lot of pressure. Against Toledo, they were sacked 6 times. So to have this D-line come in and to prep for them, I think it is night and day. Yes, Spencer Sanders, a 16-12 ratio, not good. That's why Oklahoma State lost to Iowa State, and that's why they lost to Baylor. But I just have this with the coaching edge, with the stability, with the way that defense is playing. I am on Oklahoma State. I will say this, one interesting thing. We all know DC Knowles has done an absolute incredible job. He is going to turn that Ohio State Buckeyes into a mean defense with who they can recruit. So why would Knowles stay and coach this game for OSU instead of going to play for his new OSU, Ohio, to go start prepping for this Ohio State? Well, guess what? Ohio State opens against Notre Dame next year. Knowles preps for Notre Dame this game, and he's going to be ready for having prep for Notre Dame, the season opener, Ohio State, Notre Dame next year.
Good matchup here, Robbie. Cowboys and Irish. What are you liking here? Irish short favorites in the Fiesta Bowl.
Well, I'll say this. Our good friend and colleague, Joe Ranieri, who is an alum of the Cowboys, told me a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that there's no way Oklahoma State's excited for this game. I don't know that I agree, guys. I think the excitement level is going to be there on both sides here. I think the motivation to win is big here for both of these teams. However, all that being said, where motivation and excitement is concerned, I kind of lean toward Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame. And it seemed to me that a lot of that coaching staff, in just reading quotes, and some of those players were good riddance. Thank God Brian Kelly's out of here. And they seem far more excited to play for this guy than they were for him. And they were a good team under Brian Kelly. Maybe more out of fear than wanting to play for the guy, but they were a good team under Brian Kelly. They have 2 key opt-outs here. Kyle Hamilton, their free safety, is, in my estimation, one of your top 10 picks in the NFL draft next year. We'll see. Guys like him don't come along that often to be his size, to have his speed, to have his range. It's a big loss. He was out for most of the second half of the year for Notre Dame, and there was a little bit of drop-off in their pass defense. They lose Kyron Williams, their top running back. However, the backup Chris Tyree, if they change uniform numbers, these guys look the same. They really do. I like Williams. I think he's an NFL back, but Tyree's a little faster, and I think he can get the job done here. If, in fact, I had any confidence in Spencer Sanders throwing the football against Notre Dame without Hamilton, I'd probably be on the Oklahoma State side. But I just don't have any confidence in this guy. He never developed. In 3 years, he hasn't developed. So I'm all out on Spencer Sanders. That doesn't mean I'm all in on Jack Cohen either, because you could throw that right back at the argument against Sanders. Jack Cohen's no great shakes. Got some good wide receivers. He has his moments like Sanders does, so maybe that's a wash. Jim Knowles, I think, is huge. Ralph pointed it out. For him to stay, he took the Ohio State job, but he's the developer of this defense, the best defense Mike Gundy's had in Stillwater during his tenure. That's a big plus for them. The sack numbers that Ralph brought up for Oklahoma State, you could certainly combat by saying Notre Dame has 39 sacks on the year, 7 against Virginia, 6 against Georgia Tech, 3 against Purdue, 3 against USC, 3 against UNC. I probably should scratch the UNC mentioning them because the offensive line didn't protect Sam Howell all season long. But I mentioned the others because, Brennan Armstrong's a very mobile quarterback, like Sanders. They got him 7 times. Georgia Tech is a very mobile quarterback. They got him 6 times. USC gets the ball out quick in air raid. They got him 3 times. Purdue gets the ball out quick in their offense. They got him 3 times. So I can see them getting Sanders here, no question about it. To me, it's probably more of an underplay. Oklahoma State has trended that way for the majority of the season. I think that probably holds up here. Freeman's a defensive-minded guy. I think Notre Dame's defense is going to be really good in this game. So maybe a small lean sidewise Notre Dame, Drew, but I think more than that, I would take total under.
Okay, I could see that, Robbie. 2 good defense, especially that Oklahoma State defense, like Ralph talked about.